Hey everybody, it's Michael McPherson again, and I'm here on February 3rd to do my daily post, and hopefully it'll be a daily post about Black history during Black History Month. Now, I'm doing these posts because I decided this year I wanted to remind myself about figures from when I say Black history is really U.S. American history, because Black history is U.S. American history that I might have forgotten about or don't know about. So for my primary source for this um, is this book, Affirmation. It's called 366 Days of American History. Affirmation, compiled by Michael D. Woods. On the back, my brother says, so can you see that? Too much history for just 1 month. So this is my primary source, and it's 366 days because it's basically a calendar, and each day has a different figure. Now, I'm not going to use, I haven't been using the figures for the actual day. I've just been kind of randomly picking people. But I will tell you that the person who is February 3rd, I'll let you know because I'm going to tell you a little bit about that person, and then you can go look that person up for yourself. But today, we're going to talk about a guy, and like I've said in the past two videos, I'm a history buff, I guess you could say. I used to be able to do it better than I can now, but pull out names and dates. But I now wouldn't have been able to pull Prince Hall's name, the guy you see behind me, out of the air. But I know this guy, and probably because I've had this book right here, right, for I don't know, 30 years or so, maybe. Certainly 20, 25 years. And so, I've looked through it and read many of the pages. So Prince Hall, before I read to you what the book says, I found, and if you can see here on, oops, you can see here on the Google, go down some, yeah, Forgotten Black Founding Father. So I want to say real quick, because I'm going to read you something from the Atlantic, just a piece of that article. You should look this up for yourself. I call the people from that period, the founding generation. When you think of founding fathers, first of all, you certainly think of men and you think of white guys. But the truth is that it was a generation of people, the women, Native people, people of color, different people came together for various reasons, different circumstances. There's all kinds of stories. But that generation is what helped create the United States of America, the revolution and all that. So, but this is a forgotten founding father, but it's a Black father. So that would be one of the reasons, a forgotten Black founding father. So the Atlantic, this article was published online February 10th, 2021. Massachusetts abolished enslavement before the Treaty of Paris brought an end to the American Revolution in 1783. The state constitution adopted in 1780 and drafted by John Adams follows the Declaration of Independence in proclaiming that all men are born free and equal. In this statement, Adams followed not only the Declaration, but also a 1764 pamphlet by the Boston lawyer James Otis, who theorized about and popularized the familiar idea of no taxation without representation, and also unequivocally asserted human equality. The colonists, he wrote, are by the law of nature freeborn, and as indeed all men are, white or Black. I want to say that again. He said, as indeed all men are, white or Black. In 1783, on the basis of the free and equal clause in the 1780 Massachusetts Constitution, the state's Chief Justice, William Cushing, ruled enslavement unconstitutional, and a case that one Quock Walker had brought against his enslaver, Nathaniel Jennison. Okay, so many of us who live in Massachusetts, this is from the article, not me, right? Who live in Massachusetts, know the basic outlines of this history and the early role the state played in standing against enslavement. But told in the traditional way, the story leaves out another transformative formative figure, Prince Hall, a free African-American and contemporary of John Adams. From his formal acquisition of freedom in 1770 until his death in 1807, Hall helped forge an activist Black community in Boston while elevating the cause of abolition to new prominence. Hall, now listen to this, was the first American to publicly use the language of the Declaration of Independence for a political purpose other than justifying war against Britain. In January 1777, just 6 months after the promulgation of the Declaration and nearly 3 years after Adams drafted the state constitution, Hall submitted a petition to the Massachusetts legislature, or General Court as it is styled, requesting emancipation, invoking the resonant phrase and founding truths of the Declaration itself. So this dude laid down in a Black voice the reason that Black people should be free and that all people should be treated equal, as was stated in our founding documents, or what I believe when you say the Declaration of Independence. So it's like, this is the thing that we're saying: we're independent and we're free, all of us are equal, and then everything else flows from that. So Black people have a long history of holding this country accountable to what it claims to be. And this brother, Prince Hall, looks like he was the first person to do it in a public way in petitioning his government. I think that's powerful. And you know, it set the framework for struggles that have come after it. So all of us activists, as I see myself, Prince Hall, we owe him a lot. So who is Prince Hall again, other than that? So Prince Hall is an abolitionist, an organizer of what is now called the ancient Egyptian Arabic Order of Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. Born into slavery around 1732, emancipated in 1770, worked in the leather trade, acquired real estate, and attended night school, became a minister in the Methodist Church, urged the Committee of Safety to enlist slaves in the colonial armies in 1775, initiated into a British Army lodge number 441 of Freemasons, and was attached to the 38th Foot Regiment near Boston during the Revolutionary War in 1775, organized and became master of African Lodge 1 in 1775, which was granted a license from the Provisional Grand Master of North America, becoming the first organized body of African-American Masons, granted a charter from the British Grand Lodge in 1784, which authorized the organization in Boston of a regular lodge of free and accepted Masons under the title or denomination of the African Lodge, that resulted in the formation of African Lodge 459. I know that's a lot, but basically this guy, it looks like, you know, was like the father, or certainly big time in forging the Masons here in North America or the US. Granted warrants to establish lodges in Providence and Philadelphia in 1797, with Hall serving as Grand Master. Made the first major statement on colonization in Africa in 1787, lobbied the Massachusetts legislature for support in educating African Americans in 1787, signer of a petition seeking to have Massachusetts state legislature abolish slavery in 1777, and was successful after one of his Masons was kidnapped, in getting the Commonwealth to pass an act ending the slave trade in 1788. Founded the African Society House of Boston's Belknap Street in 1806, Boston's first separate schoolhouse for African-American children. Died on December 4th, 1807 in Boston. So this was a serious brother, Prince Hall. And America, United States, US America, owes Prince Hall a lot, and I certainly do. So we're going to move on to, and I got my glasses this time, right? We're going to move on to who in this book is on the date February 3. And the brother's name is Paul Cuffe. Paul Cuffe, C-U-F-F-E. And just going to tell you a little bit because you need to look him up yourself. Ship owner, businessman, and humanitarian. Born in 1759 in Massachusetts, became a master of his own ship in 1784 and owned interest in the schooner Ranger, the brig's Traveler and Hero, and the ship Alpha, amassed a fortune obtained from whaling, coastal shipping, and trade with Europe and the Caribbean. So Massachusetts come up twice here, and believe me, it was totally coincidental. But this is an example of free Black people doing great things, being just as smart, just as industrious as anybody, and a free Black person advocating and demanding freedom and justice for all Black people, and really on the basis of freedom and justice for all people, which is what Black people as a full movement we do, way back, like at the beginning of the country, of the nation. So that's powerful to me, and most people do not know this. So what else happened on February 3rd? In 1874, Blanche Kelso Bruce of Mississippi became the first African-American elected U.S. Senator. 1874 now, okay? Blanche Kelso Bruce of Mississippi. 1939, the U.S. Attorney General established the Civil Rights Division within the Department of Justice, 1939. 1948, Laura Wheeler Waring, organizer of Cheney State's Art and Music Department, died in Pennsylvania in 1887. Born in 1887, excuse me. 1956, Autherine Lucy became the first African-American student at the University of Alabama. You know that was serious because Alabama. 1989, Bill White was named president of Major League Baseball's National League. All right. So thank you for checking out my post, my third post on Black History, February 3rd. And I'll see you tomorrow. Power to the people, to all the people.